Watch! What is going on, everybody? Welcome.
Happy Friday.
Yes,
We
happy
made it.
Friday. Yes, we did. Man, it's been a long week. Ugh. I'm actually just going to. I'm drinking some Jameson Black Barrel tonight. It's been that kind of a week. But I'm really excited. We got Travis Fauber on. He's going to be talking about a game. Gary and I got a chance to play at North Texas Con. He's got a Kickstarter. He's going to be telling us all about it. But before I do have some news, Gary. You have some news about a game you started.
Oh yeah. I got to play a game this week. I started I started an Easy D6 sort of a modern supernatural game over on Bacon's channel, Luna, Texas. We did a session 0. It was a lot of fun, and at some point it turned into slightly RP kind of thing. I think in another couple weeks we're gonna get back together and have our first session. Anyway, it was a lot of fun getting together with everybody.
Yeah, we did a Bacon streamed it. We might be doing a live stream. Bacon and I are actually talking about who's going to host it, but that's going to be the next actual play that we do.
Which I didn't know was going to be an actual play, just so everybody understands.
This is you thought we were just
well, at first we were just kind of talking about, is anybody going to stream it? And then I was just like, yeah, well, we can, whatever. Anyway, it's fine. It's a big experiment for me. Let's watch me fail live.
Oh, come on. Everyone will get a chance to see how authentically awesome you are as a game master.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Some sad news. The unofficial LOTFP server is shutting down. I don't know why, but it's the timing with Raji pulling away from social media. So I'm just announcing it in case anybody's been on there and you just haven't seen it. It was a really interesting place to see all these like Lamentations creators and fans yell at each other. It was a pretty wild server, but anyway, that's closing down by the end of the month. And then I have a video, speaking of LOTFP stuff. I just did a video on the Nebulith. Please check it out. I think it's a beautiful book. It actually got Gary here interested in Lamentations. So
yeah, sort of. Yes, we'll talk.
And then, but that's it. That's all I got for news. Because I don't know, that stuff was important to me. We got a super chat. Hey, it's Lamentations. Disco Barbarian, $5. Thank you, sir. Yard dog brothers and sword sisters. Another week has come to pass and it's time to relax. But first, you got second watch. I know our taskmaster is unrelenting, but that's why we have alcohol to get us through the night.
I'm drinking coffee. Am I gonna have to switch?
You might have to. I just want to say hello to everyone. I saw Erudite. I see Chance. I already said hello to Chubby. C. Miller. Who else? I saw a bunch of people dropping in here. Frank Avila, Ultra, Robert Stanton. Thank you, guys. I'm sure I missed a few people. But let's get our guest in here to talk about Full Metal Tilt. What's up, Travis? How you doing, man?
Not much. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. As the reigning Full Metal Tilt champion, I would like to welcome you to the program. You created a wonderful game that I am the champion of. And thank you for being here. You got big news. What's going on tomorrow? You have something starting on Saturday?
Yeah. So at noon on Saturday, I have the Full Metal Tilt Kickstarter will be going live. So very excited about that. And you know, since you're the reigning champion and all, you will have to defend your title tonight, since Matt has thrown down the gauntlet.
Let me so here's the thing. I'm not opposed to defending my title, right? I'm not scared. I just don't think it's fair that I'm only defending it against Matt. I mean, last time we had players, right? Is it?
Yeah, we could do that. We can do that.
I don't know how we'll work it out, but I'm just not sure that How could
I've got,
Gary
I've got the
Chubby,
night marshal.
good
We can do it.
Lord, did nothing
do
but
it.
nice to this guy. Look at him. How
I
would
can
Gary
tell you,
possibly
dude,
be the champion?
I'm sitting there at North Texas Con, really excited to check out this new subsystem that can be imported into your OSR game. Matt D'Amico's running it. I'm getting to know him and some of the stuff he's into. Greg Gillespie like hovering around, you know. I'm enjoying it, and then in walks this Texan, slightly hungover, sits down, and then he just mops the floor with all of us, all the while going, how do I play this game? What am I supposed to do?
Well. Let me ask you this. In Gary's defense, like Gary and Matt, have both of you ridden a horse before?
No.
Yes.
There you go. No. There you go. There you go. He understands.
Yeah. It's hard to ride a horse. Can't imagine riding a horse and having to try to knock somebody else off of theirs at the same time.
Oh, I know.
That's what gave me the edge.
It's like that interview I did with was it Dundermoose, and he's like, Matt D'Amico, every time I see you, you're always on a horse, my man. You're always on a horse.
Bro, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that guy. Matt's such a cool dude. But like when we were talking to have him on to for his Kickstarter, every time he was talking to me, he was out riding his horse, and he would like take pictures. And at first I was like, because I didn't know him at the time, and I'm just like, wow, what, this guy's really into horses. But yeah.
Good. But
well, tell us about Full Metal Tilt. We'll get into some specifics about you and all that stuff. Like what I said, it was a subsystem. Everyone sees that it's got something to do with jousting.
Yeah,
what is Full Metal Tilt?
Yeah, so Full Metal Tilt is a jousting system. I built off of the chainmail jousting matrix, and from there I had expanded it where it had like injury. I went a little further with that. You have a table for injury. And then also built multiple tables because in the play testing of the table that I had created, I had some of my players say to me, and it was just really like a layout situation where I had sent them like a new copy, and I had it set up to where like they could just print it out and it would be easier to read instead of it saying Appendix A or whatever, you know, that I had listed at the time for the tables. Or the table at the time. And they said, oh, we just thought you had multiple tables. And I was like, okay, I just learned something. So I was like, all right. So thus, you know, now we're moving up to 6 tables. I think in the preview that I gave you, there's 4. The other 2 are being created and play tested at the current time right now. But it's a fun, quick system. The best way to like, you know, really explain it is to play it. That's why I keep, you know, edging you guys on to actually like, you know, throw down, but that's okay. We don't necessarily have to do that. But in the Kickstarter, I'm going to be expanding on the material because there will be a free preview that will be out. That will be pay what you want. And on drive-through, I'm currently right now in drive-through lockdown, which confuses me because back in the day I did a bunch of stuff for the DMs Guild, and it's just like, oh, we're like a whole different system, and I'm like, okay, great, man, great. And I totally forgot about this, and as soon as it happened to me, I was like, oh, okay, I'm in lockdown. I remember all this, but yeah, so. If you don't mind, I will actually share my screen and
go for it, man.
Throw up the Kickstarter here.
Yeah,
and,
please do.
Let me get to that preview page since we're still in the. It's all the way down at the bottom. View page. All right. Let me see if I can get this to work. Here we go. Let me know when you guys can see that.
There it is.
Looks like it is. All right. So I have a little description about it where it's not like a retro clone, that it's a subsystem that I built off of it, that this is designed for primarily Dragon Slayer, but it can be used with any OSR system. Heck, just like you said, you could use it with Lamentations. People could use it with 5e if they wanted to. People could use it with Shadow Dark. I mean, the list is endless that they can use it for because it is just plug and play. It's just a subsystem to where you can introduce jousting into your campaign. And I tell a little bit about how it's different, how I have the different tables and stuff with even, oops, going up too far, a nod to the original jousting table and everything. But here's some of the things that will be in it. It'll be, like I said, fast and easy jousting play. There'll be 6 jousting tables so that you can switch it up between tournaments. That's 288 options. There also will be details that I'm working on about how to introduce tournaments into your setting. Talking about how, particularly where I have down here about winning the crowd and everything, how that will be included in the helm show, and how the knights will present themselves at the beginning of a tournament, so forth and so on. Also, we'll have tables and rules for horses, ladies' favors. So at the beginning of the joust and everything, that there's a chance that you might be able to obtain one, and depending on whether you're in a backwater place where this joust is happening or whether it's like in a city, like is that even an option, and what a number of favors would be available. Also, you could also do this without even having to actually be at a tournament. I actually had that happen between Matt D'Amico and my father. They were both playing knights at one point in time, and we went down into a barrow. They came out with a +1 hammer and a +2 hammer, and they were both arguing over it. And my dad just said, "We'll joust for it," and he mopped the floor with Matt and claimed the +2 hammer, and I will never let him live that down to this day.
That's funny. That's funny.
But also, there is not a night class within Dragon Slayer, so I also have imported that. It's very cleaned up. It's not like the Cavalier of the back in the day, but it does have, a tip of the hat, towards it. I also had to adjust the Paladin class if I was going to introduce that, and I have an additional option for the Paladin too, plus equipment, 2 adventures that I will have in it, and also some classic monsters, which I've actually introduced one. I entered a contest that
was that the Patty's Parlor?
Yeah, Patty had. I had the Tasselworm, or the Long Cat, and introduce that. But I will have, actually, when we get down to my schedule here, you will see that I will be introducing at least 4 monsters that everybody who's backing it will be able to see and peruse. And then, of course, I'll have pre-generated characters, which I believe that I gave you guys a set. And you actually played with them down in North Texas when you guys got to play. All that heraldry art that you see, I mean, minus a couple, but most of the ones that you'll get in the pre-gen, those were done by Frank Avila. Frank is great at heraldry. Just a little shout out for him. He's been a great help. I got some brackets for you, plus the art that's in it too. Here's like a little test of like what the Knight Marshal, which is the very first stretch goal that will come up. Hey, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, hey.
Before you came back to North Texas and you said, hey, I'm going to make a video. So I got that here. But I also kind of thought, some people are going to be like, yeah, I don't know about jousting. So I was like, well, I have 2, first place Dragon Slayer dungeon design adventures. So why don't I go ahead and present them with the extended material? So currently, both of these right now that I'm going to be going over, the first one here being the Barrow of the Unbroken King, which is from 2024 when I won the very first Dragon Slayer Dungeon Design Contest, hosted by Greg Gillespie. You can actually pick this up for pay what you want right now, but there will be extended material in it. So it's not like I'm giving away the whole cow.
All right. So that as a part of the stretch goal or something? Is that, did I understand that?
No. That's something that you can purchase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you don't want the, you're not interested in Full Metal Tilt, you can actually pick up this adventure or the other one that I'm going to go over, or you can just say, hey, look, I'll take the full kit and caboodle. I'll take these 2 adventures and the jousting system with the 2 adventures that's in it. But these will be extended upon, but you can pick them up right now. They are on drive-through. There is links, which if you do go to the pre-launch page, you'll be able to find those links. And if you can, as you see, I'm at 95 followers. If we can get to 100, that would be wonderful.
Yes, please
But-
do. There should be a link to the pre-launch page in the description.
Yeah, so the Bearer of the Unbroken King is actually a very long series that I'll be doing for it's kind of like almost like a zine in a sense, the way that I've been doing it. But it's the series is called The Mounds of the Fairy Kings. And all of these, if anybody plays within Dragon Slayer, I have indicated where they can be ported into Greg Gillespie's world.
Oh, cool.
Then this is one of Greg's favorite here. The Whispers of the Second Deep. Since he loves dwarfs, 2025, when I took the first place for this one in the Dungeon Design Contest, he had mentioned something about wanting stuff that was dwarf related, since he just got done with Dwara Deep. And I went ahead and said, sure, here we go. So I offered that up. It is a Dwarven related. It will actually plug and play. I know that Disco Barbarian's been working on his Dwarven campaign and everything using Dwara Deep. This is, you can pick this up right now. It's just the basics, because all the stuff that I'm offering here that I'm saying that is free, it already is free. It's on Facebook. I just polished it up for you all and then put it out here just so you say, hey, if you're interested in the way that I write and enjoy this, I am extending this, and you'll get a much broader product out of it. But like I said, down here you can see the previews. But also, I did do an adventure that actually has a basic part of the Full Metal Tilt system, just the bare bones. In the Mad Scribe magazine, that adventure is called the Blue Lady. That came out in October. I do believe I gave you all a copy and everything, so that you can also show that off. But, you can check the preview out there, or you can check the preview out of the other two. And then soon Falling on the Hills will be a small little preview, which is basically what's in the Mad Scribe magazine, minus actually having an adventure for Full Metal Tilt. But the rest of this down here is just interviews and stuff that, I have scheduled or already had done. But here is my schedule. So going live tomorrow at noon. Soon thereafter, I'll be talking with Double D and also Venger about his Kickstarter. And then on Mondays, I'll be doing those creature releases. To anybody who's followed, backed the Kickstarter, plus the other interviews that I'll be doing too as well. And I'm also playing in a live play with Greg Gillespie for a game that he is putting together. So it's kind of Dragon Slayer all around here. So, but as you can see, the last day will be on the 14th there for pledges and everything. So
14th of December is the last day. Is that?
Yeah,
right?
The 14th. Yeah, right before my birthday. So
right on.
Yep.
All right, let me get out of this.
Yeah, let me stop sharing here. There you go.
I'll get the chat guys back in. Wow. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot.
Let me just start off by saying what because I've seen a variety of iterations. You sent me drafts and whatnot for review and play and all that stuff. This is the thing that I absolutely love, and I want to convey to our viewers to hopefully convince them to back this. I keep hearing Dragon Slayer, because that's the system you're running. I see nothing Dragon Slayer in this. This is, to me, pure OSR. Like, you could be running 5e and you could make it work, like with very little tweaking, because it's such it's like a mini game, which is what I really like about this, and I really think needs to be expressed. Like this is not something that you're going to need to do a lot of work, regardless of the system that you're using, and it is just a lot of fun. Like, we had fun North Texas Con, even with Gary cheating. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Anyway, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Real quick though, Chubby's got a question. Bearer of the Unbroken King, why don't the Elven Undead constantly chat about how special they are, dealing one sonic damage per round out of 60 feet radius? Huge miss, buddy. I don't know what that's referring to.
That's not even in it.
So he's just talking some smack. Okay.
Yeah, he's just saying that I talk too much.
Oh,
he's instigating.
He's instigating.
He's
I
instigating.
thought he was talking.
I love
about.
that guy. You know.
But what I did not get a chance to really get into with one of the first drafts was the stuff that you are going to be putting in with this Kickstarter, the final draft, is all the cool stuff, the ladies' favors, the heralds, and all that. Was that something you were planning on doing initially, or did that come about like out of research, or was it a little bit of both? Like,
Both.
I want to do this, and then your research kind of went in that direction.
Oh, I was just going to answer Chubby. Okay, yeah, that's true. Elves do talk too much. I get you. So, yeah, it was out of research and also out of love for that. I mean, I know you're going to ask me this. So, my appendix in for this. One of my favorite because I do read a lot, but I'm also a huge movie buff. So, A Knight's Tale. So I had to do the Herald thing,
Sure,
and it plays a major part. The fact that Dragon Slayer doesn't have a bard, which rumor has it there is a bard in the mix, but I'm interested in that because bard's my favorite class, and it's always been my favorite since Bard's Tale. I love the bard.
Oh,
that's
really?
One of the things
Interesting.
it's one of the things I wanted to institute, and I'm interested to see how he plays it out. But I don't necessarily know if I'm actually going to do a bard in this, but I may do it out of the Herald. We'll see. But I have a vision of where their songs is really just their magic, and then also instead of like wizards, I ran out of mana or whatever. Well, I'm just parched. I need a drink, just like in Bard's Tale. You got to take the bard down to the tavern to get a drink,
right,
so that they can keep on singing. So, but yeah, that was just mainly out of research, and then also where I do like to see what everybody else has done, just to see has this been touched on before, how did they do it, so forth and so on. One of the things I'm playtesting right now is an idea, because like in West Virginia there is a contest that is called the Liars Contest, where you tell tall tales.
Okay, I think I've heard of this.
Yeah. So in the Vandalia Festival that they do this. I have a friend that's like won it many years back to back. It's actually my wife's best friend. And anyway, I was thinking about actually making another mini game within this, where the heralds were much like like in A Knight's Tale, or if they get a chance, if you actually have a herald to speak for you, that they can play this mini game of. And I was want to refer to it as the Liar's Game.
That's awesome.
Where you're spinning tales, where you're hyping, whether you're telling a half truth, whether you're telling the truth, about your night, and so forth and so on. So,
real quick, Disco Barbarian, he's $2. Thank you, man. How modular is the game? Because he doesn't play Dragon Slayer.
Well, as long as there is a strength stat, a constitution, you can play all day long. And if you don't have that, if you have might and stamina, or whatever you want to call it, A and B, you can do it. You don't even need characters. Somebody could pick this up and just play it with like their kids and just be like, I got a D20 here, I'm going to roll this. I mean, you could use a different dice if you wanted to. But that's on you if you want to get that far into it. But I do state that you could even solo play it, like with the table and everything. You can play against yourself and joust, within your own tournament. Or if you could say, like, if you're passe d'armes, where you are being, down at the crossroads at a bridge, and you're just challenging challengers, back to that appendix N, T.H. White, and the once and future king,
right.
Excalibur, all this, Pendragon, all that's
it can be used for any of the systems that we play. So perfect. My game has only strength and con. There you go, man.
That sounds like my kind of game, Disco.
Yeah. It's fun. It's it fits into that mold of kind of like with all the OSR stuff, that everything's modular. You can, pull pieces in, plug and play, bring it out. So that I do like about it. What I'm curious about, and this is because I just think weird. Besides the movie, did something come up in game where you were like, "Oh shit, I need to joust," and then you went looking for rules, or, I mean, how did that come up in game?
Well, it never came up in game. So I'm going to tell you what led me to this, and I told it on D&D Dad and Sons. Is that I was in on Dragon Slayer, and I was like, look, I'm going to be I was actually working on like future modules, like the Mountains of the Fairy King and everything. My mom passed away in October of 2023, and my birthday is very close to hers, which hers is November 15th. That's why this Kickstarter starts on November 15th. And after my birthday, I just woke up one day, Gary, and there's just something that told me, said, I see people that have done jousting and stuff, and just something just told me, said, you should like look into this. So I spent the whole entire day like looking up Gary Con pictures. I was like, what is this? I own a copy of Chainmail that I bought for like $60 on eBay, like back in like 2009 or whatever, just to say I had it and put it in a shadow box kind of thing. I never really was really going to look at it. But then, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what they're using. And I was like, well, maybe I could build something off of this. And then, I was like, okay, what has everybody else done? Grabbed everything and started researching and so forth and so on. And here we are. So just something told me, man. And that's why I was like, I'm going to do November 15th, as the start for it.
It makes as much sense as anything I would have said. No, I just was curious. How does it come into your game? Like, well, now that you have it, has it become a piece of gameplay that you use quite a bit? Or
the players love it. They look forward to each one of the tournaments. So when we were doing the when I first did the play test, I said, look, I'm going to try this out. We're going to do this. We're going to roll up a bunch of nights. So I just had people. I said, look, I got a bracket here. There's 24. I think I had like 4 people. So everybody just rolled up nights and just kept rolling, And in this case, I actually had already at that point in time created a night class, and people, some people didn't roll it, but I'm like, you're a fighter. It doesn't matter. You can still be a knight. You just got the title. You're not the class, And so we all did that, and we started jousting. I've had characters that have stats that are, for lack of a better word, dog crap. I mean, it was just so bad that they won. They won the whole thing. Because the strategy and the roles, it works out. But then then there's cases where like somebody who has better stats ends up winning out in a role. But it all comes down to like playing rock paper scissors. And just like you said, like when we were in the green room, it's poker, man. And then I actually had somebody once ask me too that said, well, what does everybody else do? And it's like, well, couldn't you like have somebody like make a roll and then like they can like learn something about somebody to give them an edge? And I'm like, it's all role play, man. If you sit and watch, it's like going to a ball game. You can sit and watch and be like, I'm reading what this person is doing. They're on chart C, and I see how they play. And then you got to think, okay, and then and if your character is like watching that, you could just walk over and say, hey, this is, if I'm the thief and everything, say, hey, he keeps playing this over and over again. You might want to like do this, and then it'd be like, okay, man, thanks, and then roll with it when they get into the tilt against each other in the lists.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember exactly how it worked. I mean, I read over it again, so I still have a basic idea. But it honestly, for me, it was thinking about how is Matt gonna play this. Like I wasn't. That was my. It was very poker like. It wasn't like I wasn't. Yeah.
And see, some of us we play differently. Like I have a buddy, Aaron Amick. He has a character, and I think his character's name is. It's not Tudwall the Portly. It's I can't remember. I think it's like Chet. I think it's like the guy's name's like Chet, but he randomly rolls. It just takes whatever it is and it just goes with it. I have a character that I play in the joust with him and everything. I say that he's French, and I'm very shady, because one of the things you can do in it, it's not just like, the chainmail rules where it's like, okay, if you get the unhorse, you get the U on the chart, you just automatically unhorse. No, there's actually like there's an opposed roll into this, because the way I'm playing it is it's strength versus con. You're always going to get hit, whether it glances or whatever. That's up to the table. If it misses, it's up to the table. But in the end, you can choose to take a risky maneuver, and as I always say, you got to risk it for the biscuit. So sometimes you're like jousting and you're just like, if I do this, I hope that I don't get an unhorse check, which will automatically unhorse me because I'm off kilter or whatever, because I've made a risky maneuver for what I'm trying to attempt. But if I pull it off and they just break a lance on me or whatever, I could really do some damage to them. So that's how I do that character and everything when I play, and I refer to him as the Peacock. And the other thing that's come out of it when doing this is that people didn't have heraldry. Now they have heraldry. They just started developing these characters. Didn't need a background. Didn't need like 5 pages. It was just, they just rolled up some stats. They just started playing, and they're just like, I kind of like how this guy is. Matt D'Amico's got one guy that he refers to as the clam, because his name is Aslan the Warm. And he just went to like a chart and just came up with all these names. And he goes, I don't know. I just kind of feel like this guy's like real slimy and has like a wet handshake,
The clam. I love it.
And he's like, he's got to have a clam.
Well, this is the thing, and we'll show the chart later as the conversation goes. But what people need to understand is this is not, and I'm not knocking any other game design here, but this is what makes this OSR, is that it's not like you're rolling a skill. Hey, DM, I'm going to joust. Roll D20. It's, you actually have a chart. You're picking a defensive maneuver and how you're holding your shield, and then you're picking an offensive maneuver where you're targeting with your joust lance, and then you can compare to the chart, because some defensive maneuvers are better on versus various attacks and vice versa. And then when the opposed rolls, that's where like the skills and the strengths and constitution stuff comes into play. And what I really like too, which I think is smart design, is the risky maneuvers are kind of like cheating. Not where like you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. And it's like a gambit, like you're really rolling the dice in that sense. And I think that's great. So players aren't like necessarily tied to the charts and what the charts are dictating. You're just like, I'm going to do this. I know what the rules are and I know what's going to happen, but I'm going to do this anyway, because if it works, it's going to work. And I love that. And that adds like almost like a wild card, right? So when you got someone like Gary, who's a terrible cheater, is like looking at your cards when you're not looking, and distracting. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. You can throw a wild card in there and play. And that's why I get that, like, obviously clearly Dragon Slayer is like your the game that you like to run. But to me, this is not like exclusively Dragon Slayer.
No, it's
in
not.
fact,
I designed it that way.
Yeah. Like, oh no, I get that. I get that. And like, because like, in the OSR, like people like, hey, I wrote this BX thing, or I wrote this like Adventure Conqueror King system thing. But by virtue of the fact that it's built off of this BX engine, it's got this plug and play feature. This game starts at plug and play. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, it's Dragon Slayer, but not really. To me, this is like, to me, pure OSR. Like,
yeah, well,
it will fit in Chubby's Ambition and Avarice. It'll fit in Lamentations. It'll fit anywhere with like almost no tweaking. That's why I love it. That's one of the things I love about this.
Thank you. I will say this is that I do enjoy Dragon Slayer. and then that goes back to my childhood and everything. But I do, I'll be honest. It's like my system that I run a home game is a Dragon Slayer, but it's very simple for me to write. Like Dragon Slayer, it's easy. It's beer and pretzels, having a great time. With like everybody. But I did design that just so that it was compatible because I know some people like their labels. So
Sure.
you slap a label on this and it'd be like, okay, well, I can put it up here for somebody who wants white box, like from John, that the basic expert that we've talked about this. Like he's even mentioned, he's like we're pulling from the same source material, to build off of.
Right.
And he's like, he gave me a shout out like just even this week and just said, look, I haven't looked at it lately, but I'm pretty sure we're compatible. And I'm like, we are compatible because, it's the source material. It's just the fact that you're able to just plug and play. Now, would I have to adjust a few things? Probably once I know that his copy's out. I just haven't, I've been so busy that I'm probably going to peruse that and I've already talked to him like, hey, after everything's said and done and everybody's got everything, then you may see a label for multiple different systems just because some people might be like, I don't understand how to do plug and play, but I understand that this has a Shadow Dark label. Okay. And this has a 5e label. Okay.
You're right.
But I understand that it does. And I understand how to, design it for those people.
Before this gets lost in the mix, Chubby actually has a serious question. Are there rules for team melee as a part of the tourney? I have really enjoyed reading about them historically. Lots of accidental injuries. Seems ideal for parties.
Yeah, so there is no setup for the melee because where I was making it, so you can plug and play anywhere. As I state in the melee section, that if there is a tie, it will go to melee, and that in melee, you use the system that you're using. So if it's Lamentations, your melee is Lamentations. If it's DCC, your melee is DCC. If it is Earth Dawn by FASA, it is Earth Dawn by FASA that you will use as your melee system. So that's where I left it to where I've had to explain that to a few people. They're like, oh, well, what about? I was like, no, just it is what it is. There's no need to putting that in there or making the rules or arranging that. Now, do I want to get into some of that stuff, like the tournaments that they had and the way that they did them? Yes, I do. But that's not this. And it's not because I'm trying to sell one thing and add to another. It's just that what I'm trying to accomplish with this is so broad, and I'm trying to condense it and put it all together or package this that it is something that I do want to get into, because I know the Germans, that they actually had I forget what it is, where you would just battle it out, like kind of King of the Hill style, but you're hitting the crest of each one of the knights instead of trying to strike them, full on. Sometimes they did that with swords, but mostly it was with mace.
Right.
So,
right.
So
that was the thing I really liked when I was reading it too, is like the battle, the melee, it goes in 3 rounds. And then after 3 rounds, if you haven't hit someone or subdued them, you switch weapons. Now we're going to fight with maces. Now we're going to fight with axes. It really is sort of mirrors that test of skill at arms that knights are supposed to have.
Yeah.
And that was something that really it felt authentic. Like I'm sure RPG Pundit would have his own opinion about all this, but you could totally use this in Lion and Dragon. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, he has his own jousting system too. I've seen it, and that is mentioned. Now, the difference between ours and everything in the the one that I have in the historical, is that I don't think there's a mace or an axe round. And I threw axes in there just because I wanted to keep the full arms, whether you have a mace or an axe or a dagger. But I believe that historically, and I if I remember his product correctly, that you did three swords, 3 maces, 3 daggers, and that is it. And whether you yielded or not or whatnot. But I do remember that. But that's the thing though, is that going back to the historical part of it is it's just amazing, just all the things that they did. Like you said, the marshaling of arms, just knowing how to use that. But if you also go back and you look at the Cavalier in Unearthed Arcana, you'll notice that they'll be like, oh, you get a bonus towards lance, you get a bonus to a sword, you get a bonus to another weapon. And I'm like, that's what's playing in here. They just never said it. They never went that far, but it's setting it up that if you did go into melee or a tie, or somebody didn't yield because maybe it's not a tournament, because the rules are not just, I have the scoring down and stuff and simple. And that's one of the things I'll get into when I go about the details of putting this into your campaign, that just like Matt and my dad, you can just, that you can just, just right outside the city or whatever. You can just have a joust. It doesn't necessarily have to be the way that it is, and your opponent doesn't have to give up. So
yeah. Let me. So that I really liked about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing like the stuff with the ladies' favors and the heralds. Like this really does feel like you're getting the I guess stuff you need to run a good tournament for your campaigns.
I will tell you something about the ladies' favor. There is a key on the chart. And one of the things I'm going to put down it says in the designer notes, like I did, it's like, if I have to explain this to you, you need to move on and never use this item.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That's fantastic. So another question I have actually for you is, so you got 12 new and classic monsters. Where are they coming from? What do you mean by classic monsters? It's like, again, like sort of like this medieval authentic sort of idea.
So like some of the stuff that like historically or in myths and everything, minus dragons that knights have went against or have fought, like your typical, like your fairy knight, your green knight. You also got like things that I've like going to incorporate, like the tassel worm, the fact that these creatures that you would, a questing knight, like taking that little nod to the Bretonians and Warhammer Fantasy. I'm going out into the woods because another little nugget about myself. Next to of course humans, but elves are my favorite race. So, and I always thought like elves need to be creepy and eerie.
Well, they should.
And they need to be, and that's the thing is that, when you read something like the elf king's daughter, that the woods is not something that you just want to go into, and that's how I always want to treat it. But that's what I mean, is that a knight can go out in quest, and they maybe whether it's the Jabberwocky, whether it's an Afank, all of these are all things that knights at one point in time they had wrote stories about, that they had went and faced, or the local nobility, or the the people, the common people said, look, we need to have this taken care of. Can we have, if it was, Japan, this Ronin take care of this Oni over here, whether it's, a knight in the Western world, to go take care of this problem that we have, minus the typical dragon, or Verm, or, so, but yeah, I'm doing different ones. I think the first one I'm going to do is the Slender Knight. So I had an inspiration of combining the Slender Man with the Knight as an very creepy creature, so, but yeah.
Well, let me, I want to, let's see. I know I got my PDF open. I just want to show people what we're kind of talking about here. Because, we've been kind of like talking a little bit about the rules without really showing people like really what it is. Just give me a second while I bring it up.
I mean, it's my turn at the preschool. Let's show and tell.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gary.
I was curious about your jousting soundtrack while he pulls this up. What?
So I wrote the words. I wrote the words for it. It's actually the words on the back, and I will say that I used Suno to create that. But the rest of it, like the words and everything, like if you go to the very back of that I just gave you, it's word for word the pitch line, my back pitch line on the very, very, very back. Yeah, a little bit about me. We could touch that if you want to, but let's go to the very back. Like he answered the question, so there it is.
Oh, there it is. Oh, these are the lyrics for the Suno tune. Oh, cool.
Isn't nice. I was like, I'm gonna throw this in, see what happens, and I said, I want something like metal, like rock. Let's do this, and it produced that, and I was like, awesome. And then I had to learn how to make an ad. So
yeah, no, I hear you. We'll play it. We'll play it just because you sent it to me, and I think it's cool. And
I appreciate that.
By gum, the things AI can do when it's not hallucinating.
Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to show everybody. Okay, so this is kind of what we're talking about. There's a D20 roll for when there's an opposed check and stuff, but like this right here is the heart of the game. You pick a defensive maneuver, and then you pick an aiming point, and then you cross-reference it, and then you like look up what happens, and then that'll tell you, what rolls need to be made and whatnot. And then you have, a few other more picayune rules to kind of govern, but this is really what it is. And I love this here too, in particular, the aiming points on a shield, just to kind of give you a visualization of like what you're doing as a knight, where you're aiming, and using the actual like lingo. I love it. It's very immersive and whatnot. But this is what we're talking about. And you scroll down here, so past the bracket stuff, you can get stuff to print out
about the cards.
Yeah, to make this more like a card game too at your table. Which
because what I was going to say real quick, that what I imagined is like, and that's one of the ways like I played it at conventions, is I built my own little mini tilt. I had miniatures and everything, which really doesn't really play into it other than looks. But if you have that, and you have your paint at night, your other paint at night, and you have them like set up, and you're tilting against each other, that you got your cards. You got the one with the lance, you have the one with the shield, and that's your aiming point in your defensive maneuver, and you just put them flat, like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to throw, and then then you flip it over, because there's no initiative. It instantly happens, because impact, as it's stated in the rules, that impact will happen, and thus you resolve the events. Whether that goes on to another match or to another round or not, that will be determined.
Yeah,
but that was one of the things I thought about. I was like, just having the cards and having them flip over, that's great. But then one of my players decided, hey, I'm going to build this JavaScript program, and when he showed it to me, I was like, Howard Young, if he's in the chat and everything, thank you so much for building this. It's the first stretch goal that I have, but I said, you need to call it the Night Marshal. I was like, the Night Marshal is what it is, and in that way, that's it rules your tournament. There it is. There's your deciding factor. Your AKA your maze controller, your referee, your DM. It's your Night Marshal. You've got it right there. You can just plug it in, and boom, it's instant. You don't have to use the cards, but if you're in a setting where you can't just plug up a computer, you got the cards. And if you can't print off the cards and everything, and and say if you're doing it like online and you don't have the Night Marshal, well, you can just use the terms. It's like you can say Helm 1 or H1. You could say Dexter Fest or DF4, and that's your and then what you do is you cross-reference, and if you go into the rules, if you want to pop that back up, you can see how I show that you can determine that, because sometimes it takes a moment to wrap your head around that. My aiming point is going against my opponent's defensive maneuver. If you go back at the very beginning, this is a new graphic that I had created, because I created it for the Blue Lady. Keep going up to the rules. Up. Keep going up. All right, stop. Come back down. Right below, there it is. So,
yes, this actually, yes,
and then that way, and this is what I did before we had the Night Marshal, when we were doing it online, that everybody would tell me what their or if I was jousting, then another player would take it over. Most likely, my friend Aaron Amick. That they would pick, tell everybody that what we had chosen, and then at the same time, and then you just use that. You would write one above the other, and then just draw lines, and then you had it determined. It just makes it real simple, to break it down in your head.
Yeah. As I recall, when we were playing it at North Texas Con, a lot of people were like, wait a minute, what? How is this? I have played games that have similar setup, where you're comparing maneuvers. So I kind of understood it pretty quickly. But this actually illustrates it beautifully. And in fact, when I was first reading this, I think I texted you a couple times. Hey, is this what you meant by this? And you're like, no. No. Oh, okay. But this actually, this graphic actually that clears up a lot of ambiguity. So,
and then for anybody that's designing games, play test, then take it to convention and play test it.
Yeah, absolutely. Got head injury tables. These are all what you're also seeing here with like the glancing blow, fumble, helm hit. This is the kind of things that will happen when you're consulting the chart. You also got the rules of chivalry, but if you have an 18 strength, you probably don't need to worry about that. Just kill everybody. But anyway, but yeah, I really like this. Man. I hope everybody I'm confident that you'll be successful, and I hope everyone who's watching tonight goes and backs this thing tomorrow when it goes live. I had fun playing it, and it's got, like I said, stuff in my video with one of the iterations that I was first sent. Like, you get a lot more than just like these rules. Like,
we're at 97. We just need 3 more, everybody. 3 more.
There you go.
3 more.
You get new character classes, and it's looking like you got new rules for the ladies' favor. And the heralds and all that stuff too, which will just add immersion to the concept.
And as well as
go ahead.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, the fact that this is like a mini game, I think adds that level of immersion. You're not just rolling a die and did I hit the target number? It's a little bit more. Your players are going to actually have to think. Like it's like cards, playing poker, whatever. So I love this, and I've said this before. We talked a little bit about this before we went live. I really feel like I appreciate and I understand what modern game design is trying to do, break everything down to like just this one algorithm or formula. But old school game design, man, like with the subsystems, I just feel like it's a lost art. I really do. I've grown to appreciate it so much more now that I've played games like Dragon Slayer, Lamentations, BX, OSE, all that. Like and that's why I'm like, I prefer OSR because of those subsystems, because that's where the plug and play is. You're like, I like this subsystem. I'm going to put it into this other game, so.
Well, it's just like I said, like in my home game, it's like you can find the amalgamation of like multiple different systems that's in it, and what I've changed just a little bit to tweak it to have it the way that I want it to be. But that's the charm of it. Just like you said, it's like I can take a little bit of like what Chubby's doing over here. I can take a little bit of what RPG Pundit's like doing over here, what John's doing over here. Torres. I mean, it's everybody has these different ideas, and depending on like it's just like kind of like going to, what was it, Big Trouble in Little China. It's like your buffet. It's just
right. Yes.
Take what you want. So that's what it is.
Shelby just sent. He has another serious question.
I was about to go ahead. You read it
there
out.
you go. What is Travis' favorite adventure module? What does he inspire to one day match / exceed? Good question, Chubby.
Yeah, thank you, Chubby. B2, keep on the Borderlands.
There it is.
I'm going to tell you, it
can't be done.
It is. That's fine. And you know what? Icarus never needed to touch the sun either, and I don't need it. Okay? But it's just kind of like, when you set goals and everything. Oh man, I didn't make 100,000, but I made 90. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
I can keep chasing that 100,000, but it is what it is. But you know what? At the end of the day, you have to look back at the silver lining in it. I look at I love like the Unbroken King, just because it's the elves, you know what I mean, and just the way that I'm doing the setting and everything that was already presented and what I was kind of expanding off of, Greg's idea of this forest. That's to me, it just seemed in the text that it was eternally in winter, and then I wrote the Dwarven one, and then I look back at it, and I was like, man, I look back at it, I'm like, man, I really did like a real good job at this, and I'm just like, okay. I was like, it's just kind of like with my daughter and her swim and everything. It's like I'm not competing against everybody else. I'm competing against myself. So what can I do to outdo myself again, over and over again? Everybody else, I like to read their stuff, and I like to see what people are doing, and it gives me ideas and inspires me. But in the end, at the end of the day, I am competing against myself. But yes, B2, Keep on the Borderlands is my favorite. It's actually in my game world. I refer to it as the Bergfried. It's the center of where everything brew out of. My game world is actually from my LARP world that I created in 2006. When I was running Nero LARP chapters both in West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky for like almost 16 years. So, and then I took what I had created there, and then expanded it to what, if anybody follows my stuff, like the maps and everything is right out of Narangal, which is the lands that everybody plays in the world of Thera.
Now you have you have like this ongoing game, and you invited me to your Discord server, which I appreciate. You play on Friday nights, and Friday nights are bad for me, but I'm a lurker. But you have like this open world thing going right now. How long has that been going?
Well, so here's the interesting thing is that my group, back in the green room where we talked about like when I really started like getting to play, even though like I kind of like solo played like through the 80s and everything as a kid, because just a little bit about me. When I was in third grade, I had a friend that showed up with Moldvay's BX. They all wanted to go out in the yard and play pretend, aka LARP. I was like, I really wanted to learn like how to play this, because I also like kind of grew up on television and playing the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Cloudy Mountain, and Tarman's The Treasure of Tarman, and I was like, oh, this is like totally different than like a video game, and so I just kind of like, kind of solo played. My parents like bought me, the game systems and stuff. I had Star Frontiers. I had like, I had all this stuff and never played with anybody. And then come my freshman year of high school, I had a friend, Brad McCoy, that said, hey, I want you to come over. I know that you like to play this, and my friend's running his game and everything. So I thought, I'm going into playing D&D. I get there, we're playing a homebrew game. And this is 1993. We're using slots for inventory. We're using, only 3 stats. The experience points was, a couple of hashes and stuff that you can do. So in other words, like after I killed like X number of monsters, whatever, maybe I got A experience points, and we would just kind of marked it down as a tick knock, or hash, 1, 2, 3, like 5, oh, I got enough to maybe get an extra hit point. This is awesome. But, my friend Eric Beckleheimer, if he's even watching or whatever, he, ran this for a number of years, and I love playing in Volumne. It's a great system. But, going back to, talking about like BX and my system and everything or BX, B2, that, and how long I've been playing, well, we would switch off, from DMs, and we would play. And I played like during those high school years, like 4 years I ran Earth Dawn. Love the Earth Dawn world by FASA. In the end, we kept changing DMs, and we would just rotate. We'd be like, oh, we're running so-and-so's campaign, so-and-so. Then COVID hit. We had a friend that was kind of like, he was kind of getting burnt out of like where we were running. I think it was the Crimson Throne or whatever from Pathfinder. We converted to 5e. And and like people just wouldn't show up, and I was getting tired of that. But I kept hearing these concepts of like, well, you could have like one-to-one time, you could have people like always on, and then I found Barrow Maze, and I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to like run this in 5e, and I'm going to invite whoever's going to play, and we're just going to play, and it's going to be a West Marches style, not total West Marches. We're going to end in a stronghold or whatever, and or a town. In this case, it was Pete Meyer instead of Helix, is what I called it. And my dad and a buddy of mine, Aaron. Oh shoot, I forgot his last name. But my dad and my buddy, we went out to the Barras and everything, and we played there. And ever since then, it's been the last 3 years. That's all we've been playing. Everybody's been coming to the table. We just play. We play one-to-one time. It is West Marches style. Everything always ends in a stronghold, whether that stronghold is something they have conquered in game, or whether it's a town or a city. Well, they've never been really to a city, so it's either the one town or a bunch of thorps or villages.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but yeah, and when I invited you, I was just inviting everybody to be like, hey, if you ever wanted to joust, I might be doing it on an off night or something, or something else is going on, that anybody could just drop in. And that's like, I even have my convention that I run. It's on my birthday and everything. I call Travis Con. I think I'm up to Travis Con 5, that I run from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh wow.
So and I just tell people, it's like, oh, you can drop in and out just when you get into town, be like, hey, I'm out, or my character is like going back to town or whatever. Did I make it there? Okay, cool. Well, I'm out. I gotta go. The wife and me, we're going on a date. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So that's so the last 3 years and plus, it's just been it's been great. I've been loving it, just being the eternal DM that I've always enjoyed being. So
I had a disastrous flirtation with West Marches. Not disastrous. I didn't do very well on my West Marches, and but I figured out.
You're too hard on yourself.
I've come to some revelations, though. Here's what I figured out.
Okay.
I figured out the 24-mile hex is much larger than I thought it was.
It is.
And that I should not put the cool shit 2 hexes out, right? It needs to be like 1. I was really hard on, like, the Mystara. I really love the Mystara setting, but I was like, I'm not going to use it. It's too populated. There's too much stuff. But then when I went back and I grasped the 24-mile hex, and I re-looked at those old Beckme, like Karamikos and all the Mystara maps, I'm like, there's plenty of place to explore. I should have started right here. I should have put B2 right here, and we'd probably still be playing. You know what I mean? I had to get clever with shit.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean, Gary. I know exactly what you mean. And I have Dwyer Deep as a tent pole. I have Barrow Maze is one. Highfield just got introduced. I have the Forbidden Caves of Archaea. I have B2. I have Against the Giants. Going on. All this is like going on, and multiple things are. But what I will say is that sometimes I never know what they're going to do when I come to the table. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, we have enough people," which I know what's going to happen at TravisCon. They're going to be like, "Hey, we're going down into Dwyer Deep," or as I call it, Dunathal. They're going to go down into Dunathal, into the city of Grindathal. And then, but in the end, when they're just like, oh, there's only like 4 of us, hey, let's hex crawl. So sometimes I never know what's out there, and I'm like, let's roll this up. And I'm like, oh, so you guys found this barrow, or hey, you found, like, they've been like exploring this monastery that they're very interested in, and trying to figure out what's going on there. And but yeah, that's one of the things, like, just by using some of these tools, that I have found that there's just endless. It's like I told my friends, I said, we could have keep switching people or whatever, but I'm going to be like 47 years old. I'm kind of done. I'm like, I'm just going to do this and that's it because
Yeah.
time is limited and
Yeah.
Bro, I'm
man,
so feeling you. I'm feeling
Yeah.
that, but I can't make that commitment yet.
I
DM
almost joined your
Cloaker,
campaign, by the way. Your
are
West
you were
March.
you
I
weren't
was
you
so
guy
interested.
Frank, were you? No,
Huh?
You weren't. Did you play? Did you
No,
come in and
no.
play?
I was looking for it one day, and I was like, hey, I got some time. I was like, I want to see what he's got going on here. Maybe I can roll up a character, and then I couldn't find it. And I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
no,
I don't know what happened.
it may have been after I shut it down.
That's what it was. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
when I had the thought.
But
I was
that's
interested.
all right.
And I was looking at it.
It's hey man, it's no big deal. We had fun while we
cool.
were doing it, and I really don't think it was me that much. I think I made some real mistakes in planning sort of the world, in that I planned the world. I think I should have been, well, I don't think I should have not planned. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about it later. It really bothers me. It bothers me so much so that even though I've just started this easy D6 game, earlier today I had Lamentations open. If I did this and I did this,
I'm the meme.
well, yeah, right. The goal is always is you have your short, quick games, and they always flow into maybe something a little bigger, and then you take a break and you do. I've always had like a main game and then something else that I do intermittently. So, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Enough about me.
Yeah. Well,
Travis.
I think you're onto something though, Travis. Is like, when in my younger years, the what's now called the adventure path.
Right.
That was like what we played. Like we had like the story we were playing, and the players would like interact with the elements of it, and the story would do this like winding thing, or sometimes it'd be straight, whatever. But they were off to do the big epic quest or whatever, and it was fun. And that's why I don't think it's necessarily a railroad if the players have all this agency within that sort of boundary. And I don't necessarily poo-poo it, right? I don't denigrate it. But where I'm at with a family, a job, right, a career, whatever, and this other thing I'm doing on the side, which is, writing games and doing videos and all that stuff, I don't have time to sit down and plan something like that. So I'm running Rob Alderman's Gods of the Forbidden North with my in-person gaming crew, right? And I've been gaming with them for decades. So like, they talk about the 90s game I ran. It was a 10-year long adventure path, and they refer to it as the campaign. Like they just loved it. But I'm like, I don't have the time to do that. And I actually we're playing tomorrow. I have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Like no idea. I've instituted one-to-one time. They're starting to do downtime stuff, and we're emailing back and forth and doing texts and all that stuff. But tomorrow I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. And I am so excited that I have no idea what's going to happen. I've done a little bit of prep, and by prep I mean read the book a little bit.
Yeah.
but I don't know. And I just think right now with where I'm at in life, that's like the perfect way to run a game. And if someone can't make it, we're still playing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So. Yeah. And that was my point, because like I said, for 16 years, I LARP. So one of the things I was sitting there thinking and that's what kind of like drew me into like about 5th edition, that I was like, oh, okay. It's like, I could like do the, what was it called? I can't remember right off. Ventures. It was kind of like their league games in a sense, like they were trying to do at one point in time, and then they just you got rid of it. And I just can't think of what it's called at the moment. But anyway, so I was like, oh, okay, cool, because like one of the things that you can do like in the LARP and stuff is that I can take my character, I can go to Pennsylvania, and I can play at Pro. I could go down to Georgia, which, by the way, Malachi's been like playing in my campaign. Did not know that his dad owned Tirangel, which was a campaign setting in Nero, and we just bonded and started talking about that. But you could travel around, you could see the U.S., and then you could also go and LARP. It's the same concept as what I wanted to do, was that somebody could bring their character in, and then they could play. And then you could, and oh yeah, well, it stops here in this town or whatever because we got regular life. But I just wanted something where somebody could be like, oh, I could come back. And it's like when I go to conventions, I tell the people, I said, look, you bring your character sheet back to me, you can still play the same character. They're like amazed. Like I have like just done magic. I have done magic for them. They don't understand. They're like, I can play this same character. I was like, well, yeah, if I like you, I might even invite. I don't tell them this, but if I like you, I might invite you to the Discord because sometimes you got to gate some people out.
Right? Yeah,
when you go to
Sure.
conventions, it's the floodgates is here. You get everybody of all what's in life. So, but in the end, that's what I do is I'll go to convention. I mean, just recently at CharCon that's held in Charleston, West Virginia, I ran. Jousting on Friday, and then the end of the night I ran I think it's the Bastion of the Bullywogs or the Sanctuary of Soulless, which is one of Greg Gillespie's one-page dungeons. I had people come up after they had joust, or people had just watched my table, because the guy who runs it always says, you have all the Dwarven Forge stuff and everything that you bring to the convention. He said, that's why you're table number one, because I want people to come in and say, look, this is what role playing or D&D. He always labels it D&D, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's like, why label it D&D? Because I'm not running it. I'm running my own homebrew system. And when people sit down, they have no clue of my system, and I'm like, it's cool. I was like, I just treat them like like Dave Arneson did with Blackmore and everything. It's like, look, I'll show you. I said, you're familiar with like how to play. I mean, even though they weren't, it's like, you're familiar with how to play like, D&D and stuff. I said, you'll feel at home. You'll feel at home. I was like, we'll do this real quick. I even had people say, well, I want to roll up a character. I said, well, that's okay. I said, I've got this, I want you to roll this dice, and then I'm going to find the date that you were born and everything, where I've been rolling all those characters up. If everybody ever watches my socials, like every day, I'd roll 3D6 7 times and remove the lowest. But in the end, I had these people sit down. They're like, oh my gosh, they're like, this is such an interesting concept. I was like, I didn't even have to think about anything. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. And then like they're all playing humans, and they go in and they had a great time. And then they said, hey, I have these other games I was going to play, but I'm going to play all your games tomorrow on Saturday.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that I think that's a great idea too. If you're running a number of games at a con, so like a person's character has sort of like this staying power and a life beyond that one shot. A couple years back, I want to say it was at VentureCon 2. A buddy of mine was running Dungeon Crawl Classics. On the first night was a funnel, and if you survived, you could take that character to the next night, which he was running a first level adventure. And if that character survived, you could take it to the next night and play the second level adventure. It was pretty cool. I didn't make it past the first night, but that's okay.
Well, that's what I use with Baramaze, is that like where Greg had wrote like and it is true, because like I live real close to. We want to segue back into this, but I live real close to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. But if anybody knows anything about West Virginia, that's where the Mothman's from. There is 130 bunkers, which I have been exploring with my dad and some friends that are there. They call them the igloos and everything, but they're basically like barrows. But this is where they kept the ammunition and everything for World War II. And I mean, you would not find these if you were looking. But once you start looking, you're like, oh yeah, I can kind of see the outline a little bit, within the forest and in the bog. But in the end, I've went in there in the middle of winter, and it was so wet. And I would think, why in the winter? Like there was no snow or nothing. No, it was just totally wet. And I'm like, okay, this is what he means by that. It will be impassable to go to the barrows and everything during the winter, but come spring, late spring, you'll be able to. And that's when like most of the conventions that I go to, and that's when I open up the barrows and I run it at conventions. My buddies that play at my table, like, okay, cool, we're going to go back to the, as I call it, the barony of Nebelmore, which is really his duchy of Eric, and we just play, because I see that as an easy convention, where I have people come in and out. They can play the same character, but you have this area where there's the barrows. They could go down to the maze. But in the end, it's not like I'm running like, like you were saying, where you have the adventure path and this is what you're doing, or this is just a one shot and thanks for coming.
Right. Yep.
I'm your one night stand as a DM.
Yep.
See you later.
The money's on the table.
Here's my tip jar. It's a little mason jar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Matt, does this mean there's going to be a tournament? Should your players expect to stumble on it? Not in the Forbidden North, right?
Well, the way things are going, see, it's funny. These guys, they're not doing bad. Like, and this is the funny thing because they think because they're constantly complaining because they're used to the adventure path, the story, the plot armor, and I've totally taken that all away from them. And what they see as a flaw, maybe flaw is overstating it, but as a problem or maybe potential criticism, I see as like a strength because like they're playing really conservatively, really carefully. They're being smart.
Good.
And they're not like there's an adventure location called the Barrow of Eight, written by Victor Gorchev.
I am very familiar with that one.
Yeah, they have not gone to that. They've known about it for like 3 to 4 months now. Okay, they're like 5th level. Okay, it's a 3rd level dungeon. They refuse to go because it's called the Barrow of Eight. It just sounds scary.
Yeah.
So they've been doing all this other stuff and slowly gaining in levels. And I always ask them, so guys, you're aware of this dungeon, this adventure location.
Yep.
And there's also the Barrow of Eight. You guys want to do it? And I just have to give them my crazy eye. And they're like, nope, we're not going to go do it. We're going to go do this other thing. I'm like, okay. So I just find the whole thing hilarious. So they're doing well. They are doing well. They've suffered some losses, but it's just a difference of perspective. Gary said this a little while back when we were talking about the West Marches. Perspective, the change of perspective a player needs from West Marches game to you're just a standard sandbox to adventure path. There's a different focus, and you need to understand that. And I'm slowly dragging them kicking and screaming into this understanding, like, no, you guys are playing the way you're supposed to, and it's awesome. Like I'm loving watching you guys. I mean, as scared as you are, you end up coming up with some great ideas to keep yourselves alive and succeeding. You know what I mean? So
I totally know what you mean. It's like it's like I was saying, like, and I know I said this on Dunder Moose, and it was funny because like I was saying it about like Matt D'Amico and because he plays at my table, in Arizona, like on Friday nights, and he's like, I said they're scared. They're scared to go down into into the maze. They're scared to go down in Dwara Deep. They want us just hex crawl on the surface or whatever. But then I have some characters, like I will give Aaron Amick a bunch of credit. He plays a dwarf. We've had 7 dwarves. They'll go down into the deeps and everything, and he keeps wanting to go down because we need to keep doing this. We need to bring bring order to everything. That's
he's a
down
stubborn
there.
dwarf.
Yeah. Well, he's also like within the political structure is that he's not one of the kids that will be king, but he's like far down the line. So he's also like obligated, like I got to go do this for dad, kind of thing. But the same thing with like the Barrows, they're scared of it, and I find it funny because like even he's like, well, Greg's killed me, and I'm like, yeah, and you learned a lesson, and every time that you play in my game, you're very careful. You guys do the stuff that you need to do, and I laugh like after the session's like done and stuff. I'm like, I tell the wife, and then she doesn't play or anything, but she loves like making like characters and stuff and whatnot. And I tell her, I said, they're still scared shitless. They're still scared shitless about like going down,
Yeah. Abstract artist. You're a new person I've seen on my stream. Welcome. This person says hello, Travis. So I think they know you. If not, I don't know if you don't know him, but anyway, but thank you for showing up.
Hello.
Please back the Kickstarter when it goes live tomorrow. I want to actually
Sure.
on something Chubby asked me. How are your guys comparing to what I posted today? How far are your guys? It's not a matter of like how far are they. What my players haven't quite grasped is they created an awesome plot hook / story, I guess, focus. They've created a mercenary company called the Iron Price, and that's who they are. So in my mind, it doesn't matter if a player's character dies. They're just going to get replaced by a new hireling, aka member of the Iron Price. So this is now becoming the story of the Iron Price. And the Iron Price has a barracks that they purchased and built in the city of Valkengard. I incorporated the Lamentations of the Flame Princess adventure that involving a bar that gets converted into a printing press because a supernatural fungus takes it over. Long story, but they took care of that, and now they own a bar and a magic shop that was next door to the bar, and they're slowly taking over the city. They just defeated the Graven Wolves gang, so they've gotten the attention of the Yagasan and the Nolkil Syndicate. So there's like all the adventure and drama is actually in Valkengard. They've kind of explored a little bit out. Like I said, the Barrow of Eight scares them. They took on Fort Ivankar, but they haven't gone to the other side of it yet because they saw how dark and scary it was, and they're like, we don't want to go there. And I'm like, hey, guys, it's a free fort. Why don't you take it over? Right. So that's where they are. That's where the story that they've decided to go on. It's like this. It's like they're bringing law to Valkengard, which is interesting. So eventually they'll head out. But
Matt, I do. You. I'm
okay.
sorry. A question for you, Matt, and maybe for Chubby as well, if he's still in chat. Guys, you two guys, I really, as far as OSR stuff goes and game stuff, I really don't have anybody I can get better ideas from on a regular basis than you and Chubby, right? Like, I'm sure there's other guys out there, but I have access to you. I have access to Chubby. Both of you guys are running Gods of the Forbidden North. Robert said something. He's kind of on the last stretch of getting this last volume together. He's entering the last phase, is what he said. He's in that last sort of downhill thing. And I've heard from people who I respect, I've heard nothing but great things about Gods of the Forbidden North. And I'm just curious, is this is going to be one of those kind of evergreen, like what compares to Gods of the Forbidden? I mean, it's 1,500 fucking pages. Honestly, what compares?
I know, Travis, I'm sorry. I need to talk a little bit about Rob's game here. I'm not kidding. Like, it is to me the Lord of the Rings trilogy for the OSR. Like it is evergreen. Like Chubby just said it. Like, very different from my experience. My guys have barely explored Valkengard. And I have not, I swear to God, put my thumbs on the scales. I'm literally showing up and rolling dice and random tables. Like, there was been this big drama because while they were hex crawling, they stumbled upon a chimera lair and they lost a bunch of their retainers and 2 PCs. We did this impromptu game with 3 of the players like last weekend, because it's 1-to-1 time, where they snuck in to try to reclaim a magic item that was left on one of the bodies, right? And then one of the chimeras killed the last of their original retainers. So that was kind of a big deal. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. Whenever someone dies, we salute with a shot of bourbon. So we'll be doing that tomorrow with
TPK,
Nuka, the Enuruk archer huntress, died trying to reclaim a lost artifact of the Iron Price. And what Rob's done is just brilliant. In fact, the one criticism I have is he's got this intro adventure that is very much a adventure path. Yeah. And it's like it literally is the weakest part of the entire thing. Once you get past that, like, your entire world is open to you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm rolling random stuff on this. Like, there's like a magic guild, and every now and again they might sell stuff, and I'll roll randomly what they got. I've rolled magic treasure maps a couple of times, and I'll just say, "Hey guys, there's a treasure map for sale for 1,000 gold pieces." I don't even know what it says, and they'll go, "Okay," and then I look up in the book, take a screenshot of one part of the map, and just say, "This is what you get," and then they're looking at it, and then they're looking at the world map I've given them, and they're like trying to figure out where it is, and they're like, "Oh, maybe we should go there." Then that guy died, and so that treasure map's lost. But but that's it really is like Rob. I wish Rob all the best, because like he deserves all the success in the world. It's a great system.
Oh yeah.
World.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I even at one point in time, if they ever make it that far north in my campaign setting, it exists. I know exactly where I know exactly where I'm going to place it. But I mean, the cultures and stuff might be slightly different, but yeah, the bulk of everything there, I was it's like I'm definitely, I know where to put this. So
yeah, and it is one of those games too, because it's like he wrote it for OSE, so it's clearly OSR, and there's like easy to like plug and play. Like I'm using a bunch of stuff from RPG Pundit. Like he's got like his like alternative magic system, so I've like incorporated that to give my players a lot of flexibility, because I'm using the rule cyclopedia. So they have the 8 character classes, the 7 standard plus the mystic, and I'm allowing them to kind of like through the skill system and some of the stuff from RPG Pundit to allow them to do different things if they want. And with the Nebulith, Zach S's most recent thing, monks can like develop their own karate style and stuff like that. So I'm giving the players a lot of creative freedom. And so to go back to your question, Gary, yes, there will be jousting if the players want it, because Travis's thing will be totally perfect for it. And what I really like too, especially considering they're getting so steeped in the politics of Vulcangard, hell, the heraldry, the freaking the lady's favor, all of that would work. So I will be adding that. I will be adding that as an option for my players. So anyway,
absolutely.
So yes, Gods of the Bitter North is great, and so is Full Metal Tilt. The end.
Go to the Kickstarter tomorrow. Give him your money.
Go to the Kickstarter. It's in the in the description. And while you're here, real quick, like, subscribe, bell icon. If you're on Rumble, please give me a follow there, because the algorithm is doing some crazy stuff here on YouTube. And real quick, I've noticed a lot of people are still using Facebook in the TTRPG space, specifically the OSR. I have a page called Gaming with Lord Mattias. Please give me a follow there. Once I hit 100, I'll be able to live stream to there. And that's what I want to do with like actual plays and stuff. I'm like 25 away, I think. So please do that. But anyway.
Yeah, smash the like button if you can.
Yeah, please do.
Well, I was going to say that since we're, I mean, that, and of course you guys are in control of it, but I was going to say that you could show off the 2 adventures if you wanted to.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I actually have them up.
Let me do a hard segue into that.
Yeah, we can do that. Hey man, you're the guest, man. We're here to serve you.
You're the host, and I'm from the South, and Gary, I believe, can contest to this, that when you're below the Mason-Dixon line, your mama taught you right. So you know when to respect everybody as you go to their house.
Yeah. I'm still afraid I'm gonna get hit occasionally. I'll say something off color and just flinch. Right? You ever get nobody's? I'm alone in the car, right? And I'm worried I'm about to get smacked.
All right, let me get this. So I'm looking.
Yeah. Okay. So you can actually get this as a free preview right now, because this is just the basic. I'm going to be expanding on this since this is part of the Mounds of the Fairy Kings. But this one is the particular mound known as the Barrow of the Unbroken King.
I really like this image, by the way. This is a nice illustration.
Yeah, that's William Mick. You probably passed the credits there. William Mick Osland.
Yeah, very cool. And now this was written with Dragon Slayer in mind, yes?
Yeah, because if you actually look at, just like it says right there with the Everwinter Woods there, that is an area that is in the Dwara Deep section there. And I even say, like, look, go buy Greg's stuff if you want to know more details about this. But this is kind of like where I wanted to make this live, and and thus that's the inspiration behind it and everything. And then, of course, I have the typical, this is how you run it. This is, back to the B2, I'm trying to teach as well as I'm trying to.
I like that. I'll be honest, like, I'm getting tired of seeing, and maybe this is just because I'm experienced, and so maybe this is just what I'm about to say is actually bad advice, but I'm actually tired of saying this is a role-playing game. Like, I know. But do you need to go into like that kind of description, but like something where you're just like, hey, this is how you read the entry, and Rob does this too in Gods of the Forbidden North, which I think is useful.
There is a nod to Rob in here. See if you guys can find it.
Oh, okay, putting me on the spot here.
You're the one running it, man.
I know.
Hey, Gary, he's the one running it. He should know.
Oh, dude, Rob's got so much stuff packed into that.
Oh,
dude.
I know. But there's a distinct style that's in here. You'll know what it is. And the first time I ever ran into this was it's something that the writers of FASA did.
Okay.
So, so I was used to it, and I was like, and then I thought about it because I even saw where like John Torres was talking about, and I was like, I should do that. I liked it. I liked it even back then, and it doesn't affect the style that I like. So yeah, I got your rumors and everything there.
Yeah. This really does remind me of B2. You got the dungeon restock table, which is great. The rumors, the retainers. Because I'm running B2 in a it's on pause, but I'm doing like an open table Shadow Dark Shadow Dark on the Borderlands game. It's like a Dungeons and Dads, like, so like our kids and us, and we play Shadow Dark. My son likes Shadow Dark, and my one buddy, his son was in like a 5e game at his school, and that was actually really awesome because when I ran Shadow Dark for the first time, he had his friends over to play with us, and dude, it was really eye-opening because they had been playing 5e so much. This one girl was like, "Can I do this legally? Can I do this legally?" Like every question ended with legally. And at one point I went, "Marin, in your mind's eye, what is your character thinking? What do they want to do? Just tell me. And if we need to make a roll, I'll tell you." And by the end of the game, after they took care of the bandits that are south of the keep in the forest, and that was a wild adventure. Like, they got so lucky. It was crazy. I should have killed like 3 children that day. But at the end of the day, she goes, "Wow, this was a lot of fun." And I'm like, yeah, old school is fun, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, I felt good about it, but it was like night and day. They were so used to the mechanics and that sort of like grid combat way of doing things. But when I was doing Theater of the Mind, and I just said, "What do you want to do? And we'll make it work or not. If we need to make a roll, we'll make a roll." And it was very eye-opening, the difference in style. But anyway, yeah, this is very much B2.
Yeah, you're just talking about that. Is that I've had to break my my players over that. And by the way, that dungeon was randomly generated.
I like how old school it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's what the dice determined.
Yeah.
So what's funny is that they would say, "Well, I'm going to go ahead and roll." I'm like, "Nope, stop. You're not doing that." I was like, "You're not going to roll anything unless I tell you that we're want to establish this." And that's where I've told them. I said, "Look, if you need to roll something, I'll tell you." So like that started with the whole thieving stuff, and now that's like they've gained the concept, and they're like, "Okay." See, what I've done with like my players and in the system where I've kind of like piecemealed everything together, that I kind of treat it like how eBay used to be yellow. And then I've just, and when they changed it to white, everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's like the end of the world and everything. And then they're like, well, we'll go back. But then slowly over time, they just started changing the color like incrementally until it became white, and then nobody said anything. And that's what I've been doing with my system. Is I've slowly been like, okay, I'm like doing this and everything. And they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. And it's like, and sometimes I have people's like, well, do we have rules for this or whatever? I was like, no, it's like you'll be okay, man. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like I just after watching The Secrets of Blackmore, I was like, I'm inspired by this. It's like, here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, I've been gaming with these guys, my in-person gaming crew for, my one friend since 1988.
Yeah.
And they know me and they generally trust me, but we were good, loyal gamers to the D&D brand. So we played 3rd edition, we played 4th edition, we played 5th edition, and they got really used to the certainty, right? The certainty of that formula, the D20 formula. So once I started talking OSR and going backwards, there was definitely some resistance from a few of them, right?
I remember.
And oh yeah,
we talked a lot about it.
yeah, it was rough. It was rough. But like they're starting to get it, which is great. And it's like the trust is back. Like, it's back in the 90s when I was running 2nd edition, like I was it was an adventure path. We were doing crazy stuff. We were telling these stories and whatever. But they trusted me, and we would come up with stuff off the cuff as needed for whatever it is that they wanted to do, And
I'll stop right there. I
sure.
want to talk about something real quick. Right.
Go ahead.
Yep. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You finish.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and I sort of feel like while the certainty of the modern game design, I guess, has its benefits, the old school game design, game theory, or however you want to couch it, I think is a little stronger in terms of like building that gaming community and the relationship at the table, because again, you're like working together to figure out how to do the thing that you want to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. The only reason I wanted to stop there is that I love this name, Mug Mog Pig Iron, for a half orc.
That is cool, and he's a poacher. I love it. Very cool.
Randomly determined, but keep going. Yeah.
So we've been talking a while. I'm just kind of scrolling through this. So we're going through henchmen's, NPCs, and monsters. We saw some maps and whatnot about the author. There you are. Very cool. How many pages is this? This is 26 pages.
That one, yeah, I think it's like 24, 26. The other one is 34, I believe.
Yeah. Here, I'll bring this up. Whispers of the Second Deep.
Yeah,
I like the use of the miniature pictures, by the way. That's cool.
My goal is to make sure, kind of like how Greg has the monochrome, is that I want to do all my miniatures, as because I've painted those up and everything. Like, I've won awards for some of them there too.
Oh, really? Okay. People are going to think I'm being salty. I'm not. I get made fun of with my miniature painting because I'm terrible. I'm the guy with the googly eyes when I try to do eyes.
Dude, everybody starts like that. It's like practice. It's just like writing or drawing. You just, the more and more that you do, you'll figure it out.
Travis, I've been doing this for 30 years and I still got googly eyes. Okay. I'm just not very good at it, and it's fine. But I've kind of like not done that part of the hobby anymore, mainly because I don't have the time. But because I do think it's meditative, right? Like sitting down, painting some miniatures, or like building terrain. I used to do a lot of that during COVID. I would just make terrain and whatnot. And even prior to COVID, I've stopped just because I just don't have the time. But I think that's great. Like, there's just so many. That's like this wonderful like side niche of the hobby, is just like the art, like miniature side of it, that I just don't think it's enough love, I guess.
Yeah.
But you've won some awards, huh?
Yeah, I have a Wonderfest. Actually, one of the miniatures that I won an award for was on the cover of this one. I was going to say, Matt, that if you needed any pointers or whatever, I can tell you how to fix your googly eye problem. And as soon as I figured it out, I was like, "This is so freaking simple! I can't believe." Because the place where I'd won the award, I actually was sitting down and listening to a lady talk about her painting style and everything, and she was particularly going on about the eyes, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Oh, well, go back up to that map real quick.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So again, randomly generated. So
I like this map.
Yeah, so that one actually, the very first gate that's in Dwara Deep, which is called the King's Gate. If you actually take this map and you put it right underneath of it, I think he like gave a couple lines saying that there is a second deep and that there is a third deep even below this, but that's just like it. You're never hear any other mention or anything, but there's 2 elevators, which you see that are like they're marked in there as like the pit symbol. It's at the open pit symbol because that's how they're marked in on his map and everything.
Okay.
And there's also this crumbled staircase and everything. So and that's the staircase that's down by 24 where it says A to B there.
Okay. Yep.
Sends. So those are like your options of like entering this. But if you put it right underneath of that, it will fit right with it. And then when I expand this, it will be the whole entire deep. So when I did the contest for this, I had to figure out, well, I only get like 3 pages, and how do I like, not make this thing like huge and say, oh, well, you can't go off into the Underdark or whatever here.
Right.
That's where like I had like the area where it was kind of like came with the concept that it was locked down, when it was in beta and stuff, that they had locked this section down. So
when you do these I've been jumping in like Shadow Dark game jams, where they give you just like, you have 7 pages to write something. Do you find that
it's great?
Okay. You anticipated. I think it's great too. Like that sort of limitation forces the creativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because it's like much of my life that sometimes it's trying to do something when you have nothing, and sometimes that brings out the ingenuity more than anything else. Like, how can I use this program in a way that it's not intended to? How can I make an ad that I've never made before, like what you guys have? I've done like one like on the phone, and then I was like, well, do I have a program for this, or can I look for something, or is there a way to do this? And by the time you research it and you think about it, it's like you'll come up with a concept. You'll come up with a way to handle something with, even if you just have a pencil and paper. It's like when I entered both of these contests, I had people, even though it was not part of the instructions, they made covers and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm just following along with what the instructions is, but I hope that this does all right with just the the text and everything, and not having like pictures and stuff. And I'm like, and I've looked at some of these and I'm like, these are amazing covers. These people are like doing like awesome. But but really it boiled down to, it's just the material and how you did it with what you got.
And like what we just showed, you've taken the stuff that you wrote for those contests and you've expanding on it and filling it out. I'm doing the same thing with something that I'm going to be hopefully publishing in the next 30 days. Not kickstarting, because I'm not a Kickstarter kind of guy, but I get the feeling, because like probably you had like some ideas that you're like, I like it, but I'm not going to be able to meet the page requirements if I keep it in here, right? So it hit the cutting room floor.
Fonts are amazing things.
Yeah.
That was my only complaint that I got from, like, if you like go back and read your like Greg would say, it's like, my only complaint was that there's like a few grammatical things, but the font. And he was like, but the rest of it was like, exactly everything he said. Yes, I could just drop this into my campaign setting. And I'm like, right, because I was like, I knew when I changed that font size that I was going to get dinged on it. But I'm like, is it worth the squeeze? It's like, it is, and I'm going to do this. So I was like, so I'll ask for forgiveness later. So, and it worked out. Yeah,
I kind of live that way, It really is easier to ask.
We know, Gary. We know.
What? I wasn't supposed to do that? Wait, is that against the rules? Now I know. It's
Now
never
let me
crime
ask
the
you,
first time.
those pictures that I sent you, you have that image where I sent you, it's like a photo.
Oh.
So remember where I said I'm expanding on these. So all these were, like I said, they're up available. You can see how I write. If you like it, you can come on back to Kickstarter. Or you can get it for free and just enjoy it. But because these were originally written, they were first place winners in the Dragon Slayer Dungeon Design Contest. That there was an image that I sent you, and I believe it's on. It was by email.
Oh, it's by email. That's why I'm not finding it.
It will show you where I'm expanding on this. So yeah, you have the map and everything. Like I said, I didn't give you the whole cow. And then if everything like gets cleared, then this will be a reality.
Okay. I actually did not see this email before tonight's stream.
Oh, that's
so
fine. That's fine.
Are you talking about the Barrel of the Unbroken King expanded?
Yeah.
Here, I can, and then I will.
Yeah, just throw it up. I'll share it. I could share it and pull it up. And before we end, we got to joust. All right. Can we zoom in on that a little bit? There we go.
I'm going to do my best.
Oh, I know. I can see that. Well, if you notice that, there you go. It's great. You can see that is the Bear of the Unbroken King, but then you're kind of like, well, what's all this other stuff that's being drawn out there?
Yeah.
See, if you notice that in the Bear of the Unbroken King, one of the walls in the one that you can get that's free is an invisible wall or an illusionary wall. So I built off of that because of the fact that there is an altar to Scaly, which is a Fey god that I had put in there that is of trickery and illusions. So that's that altar that you can kind of see that's in there if everybody's familiar with the BX keying system. So I was like, when I was like, how am I going to expand this? Is this going to be just secret doors or whatever? And I was like, no, I can play off the fact of the illusions that the first time that you went through this, you didn't find it.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
So that's where like I'm expanding off of the map and everything. That will be in, if everything gets backed and stuff. So yeah, so that's the Mounds of the Fairy Kings there. That is where, so you can see that number 2 there, that is the Mound of the Unbroken King. Number 1 is going to be it's either 24 or 48 hour backer freebie that I'm going to give away, and that is the Barrow of the Deaf Singer.
Okay.
So that is mound number 1. It's a very small little mini adventure. So everybody that backs it and everything will, within the first, I don't know if it's 24 or 48 hours. I have to see once I do all the pre-checks tomorrow that it will be available to all those that back within the first, like I said, the first day or the second day. And then you can see down there's my folders where like everything that I have, that's where
hard at work.
That's where it is.
Yeah, that's where the magic happens. Yes,
that's where the magic happens. And then you can see like where I had like those pictures that I put down there of like the polish that you got. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome. We got a question from David Mills here. Was the Dragon Slayer Dungeon Design Contest a random generator only contest?
No. It was not a random generator contest. Greg said that you could use his system that you have in the back and everything, but I did not use that. What I did use is I used the 5e, and I learned this from Scudder for Mike, that with all his solo plays and everything, that much like the AD&D random dungeon generator that has in it, I feel it's a little bit more streamlined. Now, of course, I have adjusted it since then. I have kind of created my own and built off it, kind of like him. I wrote in the margins and like everybody else, and made some copies and did that. But in the end, the 5e Dungeon Master's Guide has a random dungeon generator in it, and if you use that, it is incredible. And both of those dungeons were built off of that.
Right out.
And then what goes inside of it and everything. You use common sense too. I mean, you just don't do, I'm still going to put this here or whatever. No, I mean, you're still in charge of doing that. So you just follow your, the design or the gimmick, as Chubby Funster would say, that you came up with. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the rules as written crowds, are justifications for, but let's be honest here, not all random dungeons need to have a 10-foot by 10-foot room with like 7 wyverns in it. As is in Tonnisborg. I love Tonnisborg, but there is that famous room, right? So
well, I've heard the explanation is a lot of people didn't even know what some of this stuff was. So, and I think that even plays into Arduin, with some of the creatures that they, even when I watched that and even back that Kickstarter, they said, well, we didn't know what, he didn't know what this was and everything, and came with his own concept. And it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Nerds, with the preface that I'm a filthy, dirty late joiner who missed the first 90 minutes. Hey, it's okay. We appreciate you joining us on the second watch. It gets lonely by the fire, keeping an eye out for monsters as we keep an eye out for the party that's sleeping. Thanks for joining us. Do the adventure modules heavily use the jousting system? I think she's referring to the ones we were just showcasing. I'm pretty sure the answer is no. But the main Kickstarter, though, is a jousting system, plug and play. It's like a mini game subsystem for your games. Gary and I were not running it, but played it at North Texas Con. One of the iterations, the early iterations. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I kind of want to show off the Night Marshal, but let me just
I'll get that up.
Let me just straight this real quick for was it a Nerd's a Nerd? I believe that's who it was.
Yeah.
That the Full Metal Tilt will actually have 2 adventures in it. It will have Passe d'Armes, and it will also have the tournament, which those adventures are designed around the jousting system. Now, there is another adventure that is not a part of this, but you can pick up in Mad Scribes Magazine number 12, which is their October issue just recently. That was an adventure that I wrote that's called The Blue Lady. It has adventure around it and then involves jousting within it. So, and it has a little small preview, much like the preview that will be going up as the Kickstarter is live. I just got to get out of Drive-Thru RPG jail that they'll let me have that out and live. But based on my timing, it should be alive tomorrow, if not tomorrow evening, at the latest Sunday. But it just has the bare bones with one jousting table and everything that people can use to play and test out the system, see if they like it. But with the full kit and caboodle, you will get 6 different tables, as well as rules and tables for horses, rules and tables for ladies' favors, rules for heralds, rules for winning the crowd and having momentum from that. And the rules are they're easy and fast. They're easy and fast that you can use, and it's a lot of fun. And like I said earlier in the stream, that you can play this, just roll up a bunch of knights, or you can have current characters play, and then in the end, you'll end up making your own stories. Things will just pop out of it, the heraldry, or this knight lost his horse to somebody else because of the situation. It's amazing just what my players have come up with within the system.
Or if you have a player who has that knight or fighter with an 18 strength, and he ends up becoming the mountain that rides.
It's so funny. We have a half orc, and his name is oh gosh, what is it? I might even have to pull up the file or whatever, but give me a second. I might think of it. Well, no, I'll just go to this one. So we have one guy that he actually is a knight, like and using my system, with the Dragon Slayer and everything for the class, at the class of a knight. His name is Richard Big Timber, and so Richard, his symbol, which grew out of this, is a beaver.
Dick Big Timber. Oh no, please continue.
Look.
Did he fix the cable?
Well, let's just put it this way: as my friend Aaron Amick, who runs him, says, he always delivers the wood. So anyway, so this character has never won a tournament. He has won. He's got a decent record. He has a very high. We're talking a +2 because of his 16.
Sure.
But the problem is he has gotten beaten by people that had 10s.
That's funny.
For their strength and everything, and that's what I'm saying. Like, anybody can win.
That's
and
funny.
But you're right. If the person that has the deck stacked in their favor lands the right thing, yeah, you can just plow through like people like it's butter. But then the problem is that if you're playing poker and you don't know how to play poker, that person can outwit you even with a garbage hand.
Yeah.
So, and I always like that idea. It's like, oh yeah, you can roll 3-6 or 3d6 down the line, or in Greg's case, you roll 3d6 7 times, drop 1. You can do amazing things with just basic stats. You don't. As I feel like people like that, well, I don't have a 16 or I don't have this and everything, then you don't deserve to have a character that has great stats.
I agree with that. I've been running with that. No. Well, you can push back all you want.
I have the receipts. That's why
I going back to my in-person gaming crew, they're starting to understand that the stats aren't everything. And this is the drawback with like modern game design is like the stats are everything. So, but I my one buddy in particular, and I pick on him a lot when I talk about this, and I don't mean to because he's a friend of mine, but he's a bit more of a story gamer, and he rolled a character for this Gods of the North campaign with like really not good stats. Like his highest stat is a 12, his intelligence is a 5. Right, he's a cleric of the Norse gods. And all he does, he's like, well, my character's stupid, so I guess I'll just spend my downtime drinking and whoring. And I'm like, that's so Viking of you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you like, but you still have like goals, right, man? But then he tells me his response is, well, I just can't get into a character that I'm not into. And I say to him, because I have this homebrew world that I've been working on for well over a decade that they really like. And they want me to run it again using the Free League's game engine, Forbidden Lands. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, I'm like, that would to tell the story that you want me to tell with that game system will require a lot of work. I am not going to put this kind of work in if you're not willing to put the kind of work you need to put in to make that character sing. So we're just going to keep rolling dice and see what happens. But I still think your character's awesome. And here's the thing. This character that he thinks sucks so bad is now a 5th level cleric. Like, he's, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm going from what I was saying earlier. Yeah. They're playing smart and they don't realize what they're doing. And I'm just like, if only you could see. Oh, but anyway.
I want to hear Gary's retort.
Okay, yeah, please, Gary, retort.
On guard.
What I would say,
this is the jousting part.
We got 2 minutes, bro. What I would say is that while I understand, I don't think that philosophy is necessarily wrong. I would say that in most of my OSR experience, what you're really doing is you have this sort of like ultra long character funnel. And eventually there's going to be a character of yours, that makes it. And I think if you like Acts 2, I really like the way he rolls up characters there, where you pick a stat, 5d6, pick 2 more, 4d6, and that way it I think it can minimize that churn. And for some people, that churn isn't fun. I mean, I know, Matt loves, he loves all that mudcore shit. I get it, but it's not fun for everybody. That constant churn of characters over, and it's just not. I mean, like, I'm not trying to prove anything, man. I just want to play a game, dude.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? I'm not.
No, I
I'm
hear
not
you.
trying to be
I hear you.
hardcore about anything. I just want to play a game.
I look at it this.
Everyone's OSR in time until it's time to be OSR.
I never claimed to be a part of. I never flew a flag for anything. I like some old games. Take your little club and go somewhere
Travis?
else with it. I don't need a club.
Mhm.
Welcome to the war.
Now, well,
There we go.
There we go.
all I was going to say is that it magical items will help you out. I mean, just look at Batman. Enough money,
Sure.
you can defeat
Absolutely.
you can defeat anybody.
No,
So I'm with you. But I'm with you. There is the investment of time because it's just like like I said, I also have a LARP background that when somebody loses that, you start at zero again. And that's real time that you have lost and everything. And that's why, like, even in that type of a system, they encouraged people to create a stable and that you could have backup characters just in case something like that happens.
absolutely.
You're still going to be sad. You're still going to be sad. They're like, oh, okay, yes, I lost this character. I spent 2 years, playing, across the U.S. and everything. But in the end, if you have that backup character, the hurt's not that as bad.
Well,
but
and it's not.
but if you
It's
didn't
not
have anything, then yeah, you
necessarily.
do.
I don't. If I lose a character, it's not that big a deal. I mean, I kill enough characters in any game. I'm not worried about it so much. But God damn it, Slash, what is your fucking problem? But
Slash doesn't like your anti-OSR
I know
mentality.
Slash is against me. But what I'm saying is that
I'm a cat
I think,
person, so Slash is on my side.
I think it very much, but I do think it very much is this thing where, I mean, just face it, it's a character funnel until you have that one character that reaches level 3 or level, and even then they're not safe. But
Oh yeah, they're never safe.
that is,
You're never
but
safe.
it does feel like
I
that.
don't. Yep. And I don't know if I'm going to wake up in the morning.
Yeah, but I assume I'm going to. It's
You
like,
hope. You hope. I mean,
I'm pretty sure
I mean,
I'm gonna wake
with
up.
you.
Knock on wood. I'm fairly certain.
Now I'm going to feel bad if he does.
I know.
Yeah, me too.
Like, hey, Travis,
Maybe.
I need a co-host.
I'm not.
Yeah, that's what you need, is someone who agrees with you on everything. It's riveting.
No.
I like this game. I like it too. Good show. Yeah, fucking fly with that, bro.
See, we're all having a good time. It don't matter.
Well, no, but you know what? I will say this.
Used to be in America.
And I do want to say this. I want to say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I've said this a few times, and this is kind of for Matt. Me and Matt have known each other long enough that we've both been around that whole cycle of gaming, right? Where you get really hardcore into like one aspect of gaming, and then you kind of tire out of it and you work into something else, and then you go, but it's everybody's like, story games suck. Well, I kind of like story games now. And then there is, when you're playing games all the time, you want variety. One thing I will say about OSR games is those are the games that you always go back to, right? Like right now, we're playing an easy D6 game, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun. I think we can get 4 to 10 sessions out of this, depending on how much fun we're having.
We'll get more than 4.
But I will tell you this: when that's over with, I'm going to be looking at Lamentations or Stars Without Number, or you know what I mean? I'm going to go back OSC, whatever it is. I'll go do that for a little while again. And so, yeah, these games are great. I just don't have that ethos. Like some of you guys are walking around like fucking the straight edge dudes from the 90s, right? Like Fugazi and all that shit. Like you're so proud of your little "I can't drink" stamps. It's like, bitch.
That wasn't me in the 90s. I was literally the opposite of that in the 90s. But go ahead.
Yeah,
I will say, what you're saying. It's coming home, Gary. It's coming home. That's what it is. Like you go and you do you know you're like okay. It's like I'm gonna try the grass over here and everything, but then it's like but I love Texas. I'm going to come back home. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's like I love West Virginia. That's what BX to me is. It's like I'll go back to it. I love the ingenuity that's been happening and stuff.
Amen.
Like, stuff I'm trying to do too. But in the end, it's like you think about it. It's like when you first picked up that book, and I remember that day. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's like it's the first time I saw my wife. You know what I mean? Like these are all the things that you remember, and you think, that's it.
Well, Mike Necrofint says, I've been straight edge my entire life. And I want you to know, Mike, that I have been taking up your slack. All right. You and all your little straight edge friends.
So all the drugs you weren't doing, Gary was doing.
I'm here for you, brother.
Look, man. Gary. We have traveled a lot of the same road, then, my friend. We'll just put it that way. We just won't incriminate anything.
Hey, you know what's crazy? I'm a 51-year-old father of 3 boys now. I can only make those jokes when everybody's asleep. And if you knew how many football playing honor students slept under my roof, this is when I get to hang out with friends and tell stories time.
Right. Well, it's like I was telling my boss and stuff. He was like, if my son does this, and this, he'll be like, this is awesome. He'll be right on, and I'm sitting there listening to all the wisdom that he is pouring out. And I just look at him. I said, Mike, you remember what it was like to be at this age and everything. And you got more money than you've never seen before because of, you're talking about the career he's going into. And he's like, yeah, what'd you do? And he's like, yeah, man, I know.
I actually,
he just changed his head. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, that's how it is. It's like, it's like the proverb that says, you get a comb when you're bald. And it's like, okay, great. That's wisdom.
Yep.
I told my oldest boy turned 15 and he's on the football team and his friends are so nice. And I don't think they're running around. I don't think they are. You know what I mean? And I look at him sometimes and I'm just like, man, and I was just joking, but he was like, hey, Dad, I'm going to go to my friend's house. And I was like, you ought to go get somebody's older brother to buy you a 6-pack, get drunk in the backyard and call me in the morning. All right. With your straight A's and everything. It was a joke. Anyway.
Yep.
Man, I've enjoyed this. Here's the thing I like about Full Metal Tilt. It's like we were talking about when this first started. You can put it in your game. You can. There is a reason for it to be there. You can just have a tournament going on. How many times have you had a fight going on in your town that your players may have, they join up in? It's just another opportunity for them to get into their characters and do something different, and I have played it. It is fun. If you win, you will hurt feelings.
Yeah. That's because Gary's a cheater, but no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not.
I just
I was just gonna say before we get off, we don't have to joust. I just want to show this program that Howard
go for it.
All right, here, let me pop this thing up.
Are you talking about your video?
No.
Okay. Because I was gonna play that,
dude.
I wanted to play that.
Well, you can still play that at the end. I'm just gonna be real quick here, but
right, go ahead.
Yeah, here we go. All right. So this is the night marshal. This is the first stretch goal. We just have to get 700 over top.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you guys see it? Can we see it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to click something. There you go.
It's okay. Okay. All right. So when you roll to determine what table it is, well, let's say it's table O or original. Here we go. Here we got our chart. Then let's say that Matt says, I'm going to pick Helm 4. See, and it works out. Helm. This would work out for him for 4. Let's say Gary says, I'm going to go DF 5. There's your results. It automatically does it for you with a few clicks here. So player A unhorses player B, because see the U in the underline, which I've added since you guys played, that is a crit. And then over here, player B, you broke a lance, get 1 point, but doesn't matter, you're unhorsed. And then one of the things that when we started using this, that he was like, I had to unclick all these. He's like, oh, let's just make a button to take care of that. Boom, we can start again. Next set.
That's awesome, dude.
That's why I wanted to show it off. This is why I'm saying we can joust this. Yeah, just once we get over. So I just need to get to 1300. It takes care of the computer that we're talking on. In the end, after that, that's the goal. If we can make it an even 2000. That way, in my head and my OCD, that we can just keep going from there with the stretch goals. We get to 2000. This is available to everybody.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to stop sharing now. But again, just real quick, we could add any table here. We can change it up. And then when I get the other two done, boom, you will be able to do that. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Howard Young he just did it, and I was like, thank you. He said he was going to do something for his work at Marshall University, and he said that I was going to have these different dorms like joust and everything using your system. And he's like, we're talking about like 70 some students. He's like, I needed some way to bring order to this, and this is where this came from. And he's like, oh, you could use it. And I'm like, thank you, Howard. Thank you so much.
That's cool. That's cool. And what a
badass.
Man, not to, I don't know, overcomplicate things. What if you had an app on your phone?
Well, I mean, this is just a. Technically,
you could do it on your browser.
You could do it on your browser. That's what I was going to say, because it's just JavaScript.
Oh, there you go. Well, very cool. Well, everybody, we're 11 past the hour when we usually sort of end. Not really, kind of. I don't know. It goes live tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm. Eastern Standard Time.
Please go support this Kickstarter. It's fun. Gary and I have been playing it. Gary had to cheat to win, but that's okay.
We're at 98. Sorry. We just need two more by noon.
We need two
and there's all kinds of fun stuff that can that you can do with this. It's a great OSR system. It plug and play, like we've been talking about. So please go do that. The link's in the description below. Travis, I said this before we got on, before we went live. Thank you for thinking of the second watch to
thank you for having me on
this. It means a lot to us because we care about the indie scene. We care about new creators and creators doing things in this hobby. So we appreciate it, and we wish you the best of luck on this. I know it's going to be a success. This is just awesome. Just
thank you.
Fantastic.
And the one thing I will say, like I said, thank you both, Matt and Gary. But Gary, you have to send me a text on X to let me know that, or on Facebook, it don't matter. Just to let me know that you woke up tomorrow. So that way I don't feel bad after our conversation.
All right.
All jokes aside, man. But yeah,
I think honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Just for the joke, if I happen to go tonight, I don't know how upset I'd be about it, right? That'd be a really funny joke. That would fuck with you forever. And anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, the haunting will be okay.
Alrighty, yeah. Have you ever had that talk with your girl? If you ever get with anybody else after I'm dead, I'm gonna haunt you. Anyway, sorry.
we actually have an. Let me just tell you this with me and the wife and everything. So my goal is to make it to that Bilbo Baggins' birthday of 111, and then I'm going to say peace out. I'm done. But in her case, she's like, you have to let me go first, and I was like, okay, that's our agreement. So I told my doctors and stuff. I said, hey, this is what we're doing and everything. We're going to get me here, and I said because we have an agreement. So I'm trying to make it there, and if she goes before me, then that's okay. But she said you have to promise me you can't go. So I'm like, okay, whatever you guys say. What Dr. A? Yes, sir. whatever we need to do.
And then you're gonna give like this cryptic. I liked half of you as much as I should at whatever he says.
That's
right?
exactly that's the way I want to go. I want to give that speech on my
Yeah,
birthday and just be like, it's almost like that the whole thing. F you, F you, F you, like on half.
You're cool.
You're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
right.
gonna age like Keith Richards. You wait, I'll make it to
Oh
112.
no,
bet me.
You know,
bet me. No.
back to that quick little thing that I said that where we traveled some of the same road. We'll make it there, man. We'll make it.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Hey, man, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, Matt.
Thank you, guys.
We got to go, bro. It's getting late.
Yep.
You've had too much to drink.
Well, no, I have. We're gonna do before I do the outro. I really want to do the Full Metal Tilt trailer.
It's only a minute and 33 seconds.
I know.
Go
Travis
for
put
it.
some work into
Go
it.
for
I
it.
want to do it. But everyone, hit like, subscribe, follow, blah blah blah, and then tomorrow at noon, back this Kickstarter, please. Until next time, our watch is ended.
Full Metal Tilt. Stand ye ready, experience adrenaline rush and heart-pounding excitement of jousting in Full Metal Tilt. A classic jousting system where every tilt of the lance could mean the difference between victory and defeat. Charge through the list, mastering the noble art of jousting against a backdrop of roaring crowds. Every tournament is a fresh adventure, and each challenger brings a thrilling new test of your skills. Will you rise as a tournament champion, or will you find yourself on horse amidst the clash of steel? Lower your visor, steady your lance, and let the games begin. Will you rise as the tournament champion, or will you find yourself on horse amidst the clash of steel?